Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Healing Words podcast. Our guest today is Kyra Dodd. Kyra is a former teen mom and nurse who turned her financial setbacks into stepping stones. After a job loss and losing money to ineffective counsel, Kyra learned the inner workings of money management. Now, as the owner of a multiple award-winning financial literacy business, she helps others create a path to financial success. Thank you for joining me today.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Okay, so let's jump right in the action. The year is
All right.
2018. You are a nurse, and
Mhm.
then your life takes a shift that leads you to where we are now. Tell us what was going on.
All right. So in 2018, well, 2017, let's just say my last pregnancy was very high risk. Blood pressure stayed up. They could not bring it down at times. Also preeclampsia, but as well as I also lost my eyesight, and they didn't understand or know if it would come back.
Wow.
So all of that definitely made it where I could not work. And I was a full-time travel nurse. If for anybody on here that's a full-time travel nurse, you understand that we don't have benefits and stuff. So we don't have anything when we take off of work that's going to cover us until we're able to work again. You start working, your funds stop. Well, I had a landlord that at the time, because I was renting, that he was understanding, but then he sold his company. So went to another person and they were not understanding apparently. So when I came home to an eviction notice. And then as soon as it seemed like we got in the house, a repossession. So
So that
all of that,
changed
I was,
everything.
yes, that definitely changed how everything was for us. Fortunately, we were able to get into another home. And during that time, though, we also went ahead and reached out to a person that we seen was doing really big out here, paid well over $4,200 to fix our credit at the time, and that did not happen. So my thing was we can take that as a loss, or that's going to be a lesson that we can now help other people in the same situation. And that's what we did. And that's how Kredit Kleanse was born.
Okay, so Kredit Kleanse offers several, has several offerings. Tell us some of the things that Kredit Kleanse does.
Okay, so of course, credit restoration. Definitely get your credit back on point. We also help you with your business formation, help you get funding on the personal and the business side. And then we also do coaching and mentorship.
Okay, now when you lost the $4,200, did that inform the way, because it wasn't fraud, it was just, it just did not work out.
Right.
So did that inform the way, did what you went through then, did that change the way or color the way you treat your client?
Yes, definitely. I will start by saying one, there was no communication. So by
Mm,
month to month, we don't know what's going on. You try to reach out, you might get somebody to tell you, hey, you're on the list, blah, 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 stuff like that. So that definitely made it where when you're in credit cleanse every month, because the credit reporting agencies have 30 days to respond to any disputes that are sent out, right? So every month we actually make sure our members that they get a monthly update of what happened in that month, what deletions occurred, anything we see that they can do on their end to boost them scores up even quicker. All of that is happening every month that you are with us.
okay. Um, I'm wondering if people don't realize the importance of a good credit score, good credit rating. And what are some, if you, I'm wondering if you've noticed that in your business, and what are some of the common misconceptions that people have about credit?
Oh, yes. Okay. So there's a ton. Let me just say that. But one of the things that stick out with me is a person will automatically be like, no, I paid that credit card off, right? So they not understanding that credit cards report once a month. Okay. It doesn't matter how many times you do payments or anything like that. It's still going to report once a month, and that is your statement ending date, not your due date. That's two
Mm,
different things right there. You have a due date, you have a statement ending date. So if I was looking at my bill right now, I would actually be like, okay, if it said March 22nd to April 21st, I understand that the 21st of every month is when it's going to actually report. So that's the date that I need to really focus on making sure that my utilization is underneath 30%. So
okay.
yeah, that's a big one because people like, no, I paid it yesterday, so I'm not understanding why it's not showing up. Well, that's the reason.
That's the reason. You're looking at the wrong
Um,
date.
yes, yes. Another thing is, I would like to say is people really feel like they can wipe all their credit clean and go stick some authorized user accounts, which is when you actually piggyback off of somebody else's good history. They feel like, oh, I'll just go get other people's history, have it put on mine, and then I will have great credit because they see a 700, right? Or 800 credit score. But that's a false 700 because it's not built by you. It was built by someone else. So when you try to go and get funding or anything, credit cards, they're like, we don't see anything that you have yourself. All of this is coming from like what we do with our kids. If we want them to have great credit, we help them build up by adding them to our cards. Well, you
Right.
still have to make sure they are building as well once they become of age.
Okay. Let me ask you this because it just popped in my head. What do you feel about co-signing for loans? Good,
No.
bad. Okay, okay,
Simple
okay.
word. Simple. And the reason being is because, so for me, I will not co-sign for anything my kids have once they of age.
Okay.
I'm going to teach them basically how to fish, right?
Hmm.
And so what that means is by me co-signing, what if they have a mishap and they don't pay it, on time? Now, my great history that I have just got tarnished because one late payment can drop you over 100 points.
Oh,
So no, I'd rather teach them. And if they need to cleanse their credit, all right, this is what we're going to do. We're going to get this together so that now when they're getting it themselves, also they're more likely to be on track versus having somebody help them.
I'm wondering what is it like for your kids to have their mom doing the kind of work that you do? What would your teenagers tell us that you're teaching
That
them?
honestly, I don't even know if they be listening. Let me say, I'm gonna be 100, okay? They tell me good job. They tell, they're proud of me, things of that nature. But by me being their mom, I think it's more so it's just like how you are with your parents. It's like, I hear you
Yeah,
until
yeah,
they
yeah.
actually get out there in the real world.
Hmm, hmm. Okay. Speaking of kids, you do some training in schools. Tell us how that goes and what goes on there.
Okay, so I actually volunteer at high schools. I love to educate my juniors and seniors of high school to kind of let them in on how credit actually works because people look at it as just credit cards. They look at it as just getting into a home or getting a car, right? But I actually show them by, practice what you preach, right?
Right,
But I
right.
able to like tap into their world and explain to them how they can use that to live the lifestyle that they dream about. So
Yes.
I enjoy it.
And that's important because when we were coming up, we didn't have these kind of classes, but we didn't have the kind of access to money that our kids are.
Correct.
Yeah. So they need to know that you can't go out and buy an outfit every weekend.
Right? Or that, yeah, that would, or you should at least invest into something, right? And definitely I showed them like, hey, you don't have to have $100,000 to go get this. If you get your credit together, you can use your credit to actually purchase whatever it is, like real estate. You can purchase real estate using your credit, and the money that you make from that property, now you pay off that credit card, and anything else is pure profit. Now you didn't come out of your own pocket, and you were able to leverage it and profit from it.
Because there are plenty of companies out here that will give you money. You can get what you need from them, but if you have bad credit, you will never get out from under that bill. Your interest rate is going to be sky high.
Yes, yes. Oh, I've seen it so many times. People have 2001 Chevy and they're paying $650 a month for, and they're like, "Oh, I've been paying on it for 2 years." And I'm like, all you did was eat at the interest. It hasn't even went to the principal. So I
Yes.
tell people, when you cleanse your credit and you actually learn how to make your credit work for you, it's a game changer. It took me from working 12 to 18-hour shifts to now get to enjoy my kids growing up. I'm not clocking in anywhere, haven't for 5 years now.
It's wonderful. That is absolutely wonderful.
Thank you.
Let's talk about that for a minute. You've built a business that, like you said, not only helps individuals, but you're strengthening communities. Do you have a vision for the future of your company?
Oh, so it keeps changing as as I grow, but for the most part, I want this to just be a life changer, right? I
Mm-hmm.
get this a lot. Like, you come in, you get not only your credit fixed, but you also get the education. You also learn how to use it as well. And they're like, because of you, I'm no longer having to do X, Y, and Z. So I want Kredit Kleanse to always like just be known for actually helping our community get out here and truly get to winning in real life.
Your motto is helping those who want to help themselves. Could you explain
Yeah.
that to us?
Yes, so what I mean by that is, when you come in, we are doing the heavy lifting as far as cleansing your credit, right? But it ultimately is on you on getting the education. I have trainings that we do. I also, you get into our text community and our private Facebook group as well. And I'm always dropping gems saying, hey, go do this, right? If your score is here, if your profile is looking like this. So as long as you are willing to help yourself, I'm here, to help and guide you. And yes, I am a bigger company now and have a team, but I do try to still make it personal. So as long as you're willing to help yourself, hey, I want to see you win.
Okay, so let's back up for 1 second. Now we know that it was the job loss that led you to where you are now. But when you look back, do you have any personal financial obstacles that you can share with us? Some things that you used to do and now you're like, girl, what were you thinking? You're like, we're not
Yes.
doing that.
Okay. So by me being a nurse and a travel nurse at that, you kind of make a little bit more. So one of the things that I did was, before I had cut up my cards, because I was like, I don't need this. I'm cash heavy. But you know what I'm saying? By me cutting those cards up when I actually needed my credit, I didn't have it because I didn't no longer had 30% of my overall credit score by shutting all those cards down. So that took me from 700s to the 400s, so definitely a mistake right there of doing that. I could have most likely either cut them up or put them in a drawer or something.
Right. But
But
not in them all together.
yeah.
Let's talk about some challenges that you faced being a Black woman in business.
Woo. Okay, so I'm gonna say it like this. Um, being definitely brown skinned woman over here in business, and I'm in a predominantly male industry. You see where they like to play with your top, if I could say.
Hmm.
So they will most likely try to come at you, you know, let me just say this. I feel like we are sexualized a lot.
Mm,
Yes. So they will see, I'm 34, you know what I'm saying? They're like, oh, she has her head on straight, but they will still try to play, if that makes sense, with your top
right,
or act like you're not supposed to be in that room with them.
right. You don't
And
belong at that table.
yes, so it's more so not only, I don't just have the challenge of being a woman in business. I have the challenge of being a Black woman in business or a Black woman with kids in business, single Black woman with kids in business. And that all of that plays a huge part in everything because they're like, do she really know what she's talking about? It's challenging every day just to be a woman. And I can't just be good. You know what I'm saying? I have to be great, fantastic.
Right, right.
So all of that comes into play.
All of that. All of this time is still going on.
Yes, yes,
Wow, wow. Okay, so you said something about not just being good, but having to be great. Apparently you are because your company has numerous awards. That has to be because you are self-taught, correct?
yes, yes, ma'am.
So being self-taught is one thing, but then having the ability to go and teach others and change their lives and have them tell you that. And then you have these awards. That has to be so rewarding.
It is, but I'm gonna say this. I kind of grew up where I felt like for a long time that it was not enough. Like I was a all A. So yes, I was a teen mom, but I also was an all A honor roll student,
Mm.
But
Hmm.
even once I had the baby, that was overlooked. Like, oh, or things like that. Like, so it's like
The
always
teen
feeling like,
mom description is
yes,
what's ruling.
yes, I'm supposed to
Even though
live.
you had all these, everything else was just okay, gotcha.
Yeah. So with that being said, it's like always kind of like you feel counted out. So you always having to prove yourself. So even
Mhm.
in the beginning, I'm not going to sit here and sugarcoat anything. Winning those awards was more like, sticking it to the man type thing. But now I just, every time that I get an award, whether it's Woman Entrepreneur of the Year, top business, whatever it may be, it kind of just keeps me on track to say, okay, what I'm doing, people are noticing. I need to go harder for them.
Because I'm wondering, in our community, when they see you and they see the awards and they see how accessible you are, I'm wondering if it were not for you, maybe there were some people who would not have gone to get this kind of help that they needed.
I've definitely been told that on calls.
Hmm.
Definitely. Like I said, I came in just because I seen what it did for me. Like I said, it took me out of having to slave. And I'm not telling anybody to quit their job or anything like that. I'm just saying that it now gave me an outlet of, yes, I can do this when I want to do this, but I can also still live the life that I dream about. And I'm able to do it because credit truly changed my life.
Wow. It has to be very empowering.
Yes, ma'am. It's a lot.
Okay, so I want to back up for a second because you have several ways of teaching, several courses on your website that your company offers. Um, Give me because they seem to run the gamut because there's some business courses, personal
Yes.
finance, business, and then fixing your credit. Can we talk a little bit about what you offer?
Yes. So I have a lot of people that come to me, of course, to cleanse their credit because they want to get into a home or something of that nature, right? But when they actually go through, so you got the credit restoration part. I'm educating you as well as what you can do, how credit works can work for you, right? So now their gears are churning and they're like, oh, so I can start a business, but I don't have to quit my 9 to 5 to start this business, you know? And so then being around like-minded individuals because we have a private Facebook group, right? Of all our members, anybody that has ever been through Credit Cleanse. So they're saying all what they're doing. And now the ones that just come in is like, oh, I can do that too. So then you get the business side. So that's where we help you structure your LLC or S Corp, right?
Hmm.
Then, of course, I feel like you should never be running a business using your own capital, right? So therefore, now we have to build up the business credit and get business funding so that we can use that for the business and the business can make money on its own. And then from there, of course, it goes into mentorship of, okay, how do I take this to the next level?
So it's not unusual to have someone come in to get their credit cleansed and they just stay with you. Next thing you know,
Yes,
they own a business.
yes. And I have members that are still with me and they started 5 years ago. 2019 is when Credit Cleanse, came all the way out.
Hmm.
And they've been with me. Anything that I have going on, they're like, I'm there.
Right, right. Okay, so let's talk about this because it looks like it's easy to start a business on these internet streets.
Hmm.
Everybody's coaching, everybody's doing this, but there are some do's and don'ts. I think I saw on your website. Like if you're gonna have a business, you shouldn't be doing these kind of things, or these things
Yes.
should not be associated with the business owner. Can you give us an overview of those?
Okay, so I'm gonna kind of say when you have a business, a lot of people are doing business, but they're not
Hmm.
truly a business. And what I
Okay.
mean by that is they'll have like a DBA where you go to like the courthouse and just say, I'm gonna be doing business as blah, blah, blah. And then they'll come to me and be like, hey, I'm trying to get business credit. Well, you're doing business, but you're not truly a business because you can't separate the two. When you have your business, there you shouldn't be commingling, which I mean using your personal funds for your business and vice versa. So your business is like your rich best friend. Let me
Hmm.
say that. That's so that's your rich husband, your rich, right? So you have your SSN, that's your personal, right? Your social security number. Then on the business side, you have your EIN and your DUNS, which is like the social security number for your business.
Hmm.
You should be able to get funding credit on its own and use that because you're going to get up to 10 times to 100 times more than you would on the personal side anyway, on the
Wow.
business side.
Okay. Do you miss nursing?
Yes. But not enough to go back. I said
You
the
go
next
back.
time that I go back, I'm going to have the building. Okay. So
There
I
you
can,
go.
yes, I want to make sure patients are treated truly how they should be treated.
Okay.
I miss it just for the simple fact of how I am on the credit side. That never changed from how I was as a nurse.
I was gonna ask you that. I wonder if there's how nursing and this credit, your credit business, how are they alike?
Me, get so I
I'm
look at
thinking
credit.
same skill set,
Yes,
probably.
I look at it as so as a nurse, we take an oath that we are our patient's advocate, right? We are our patient's voice. Well, when it comes to on the credit side, I still use that. I'm speaking for my people, no, you don't need to do this. This is how you need to do this. No, don't go there, So I'm doing the same thing as I would on the nursing side, which kind of got me in trouble sometimes because I would be like, you don't need that medication because Yes, it's going to correct this, but now your kidney, and you only
Right.
have one kidney left, you know? So it's the same way. I look at credit as a heartbeat. If your heartbeat is irregular, right? If it's off at any part in there, it throws the whole body out of whack. Well, that's the same thing. Credit is like it's the foundation. And when your credit is off, your world is upside down. Like that can right there, if you're in a marriage, lead to financial stress. And we
Mhm.
all know financial stress and burdens are like the number one thing for divorce, the reason for people getting divorced. So it
Right.
really throws off everything.
Okay. Excellent. You have a 2-day conference coming up. Because like
Yeah.
before, you said something about you out in the community. Tell us about your conference, where it is, what are you be doing there?
All right. So May 30th and May 31st, which is a Friday and Saturday of this year, I'm throwing an event. It's called Charge Up Your Life. What I mean by that is we're charging up your entire life. On the personal side, we're talking about credit, right? We're talking about trust, your taxes, mindset, all of that we're going down through. And then we're taking it over on day 2 to the business side, teaching you how the brand awareness works, teaching you how making sure you have the business credit, the business funding together. Also teaching you trademarks and all of that on the day 2, as well as we're gonna have a dance in there, okay? Because if you follow me anywhere, you see that I'm always dancing. So there gotta be a Black masquerade party going on as well.
Oh, okay. That sounds wonderful. And where is that?
This is gonna be in it's Red Oak, Texas, which is in the DFW area, Dallas Fort Worth area. Um, don't think that if you're not in Texas, fly in, come to this event because we have people right now signed up that are going to be flying in from California, Florida, Louisiana, New York. So it's not just for here in Texas. We're helping you for no matter where you are.
Okay. And will this information is on your website?
It will be soon.
Okay. We'll put that in there so they
Yes.
can find it. So they can find it. Okay, so we're the Healing Words podcast. So we're at the part of the talk where I ask every guest here 5 questions, the same 5 questions.
Okay.
We're healing words, so they start with the first letter of the word words. W, when. When did you know for certain you that I'm gonna start my own financial company?
When I seen it bring the same joy to me as they do in nursing. When I see someone actually get better, like I'm tears. And it's the same way when I see their credit change, but not only that, their life change. I've
Mm,
had people come to me homeless and now they're in a 2-story home. You know what I'm saying? Like that
right.
type of stuff. Oh, it's getting to me now. Like that's when I knew this is where I was supposed to be.
Say, oh, how do you organize your day? What do your days look like?
This handy dandy book right here. Yes, so I have to I get up, kids first, get them to school, things of that nature, or get them ready for school, then tap in emails, all of that jazz, take a break in there, house cleaning. So it is very strategic, but I had to if I didn't have this, I would be lost.
Thought I was the only one that I need to have a written calendar. My online
Yes,
calendar is fine, but I've got to have it written down. I got
yes,
to see
that's me.
it. And you have a team now, correct?
Correct. Yes.
How did you know that it was time to outsource and get help? Because the word on the day, the word on the street now is hustle, and everybody's we're just running and running, and how did you know that it's time to get help in here?
When it came to, I could not get everything done by myself. I was growing really, really fast. And because of word of mouth. And it started being where it's 11 o'clock at night and I still got 10 more files to do, So I
Mhm.
was like, it's time to also get me out of the back office so that I can do what I love to do, which is educate.
Mhm.
So that's when I honestly knew.
Okay. I want to go back to that time in 2018 where, you lost your apartment, you got another place, but then you lost all of that money. And I'm wondering how that hurt your heart. For the rear view, knowing what you know now, when you look back at some of the financial struggles you've had, what advice would you give yourself?
One, that credit is very important. No matter what you're making. Um, but the biggest thing is to keep going.
Hmm.
Because during that time, I really felt like my world was over. To go from a nurse and now have to ask for help. Yes. So if I had to look back on, I'm like, hey, it's okay to lean on other people sometimes, but one of the things is just keep pushing, keep going. You got this.
Right. Okay, so the D is for delete. I'm wondering how much of your personal story do you tell when you're telling stories or speaking? And do you ever think, oh, maybe I shouldn't say all of that? Maybe I shouldn't give them all of my business. I
Used
do. Go
used to,
ahead.
I was gonna say that I was like that. Oh, they gonna know just enough. But when you realize that sometimes you telling your story helps someone else, you're okay with sharing as much as you feel like they need to get to
Mhm.
their next level. So is there some things that I wish I could delete? Of course. Of
Yes.
course.
Yes.
But I understand, honestly, everything led me to where I am today.
Perfect. Perfect. So for the S, how has your business becoming a successful business owner, not just successful financially, but successful in the fact that you're helping other people? How has that strengthened you?
So I'm gonna be honest, even though I'm told that often, that you are successful, I'm not feeling successful just yet.
Hmm.
And the reason being is because I need everybody that's connected to me to be winning as well. If I'm the only one up here and they're still kind of straddling down here, how can you say that you're successful until my whole team is up here? Because let's be honest, a lot of my employees now have their own businesses, but because I helped them form that, they're still loyal over here. So I
Right.
need my whole team to be before I can consider I don't know. That's just me.
I think if we asked your clients if you were successful, they would say
Oh,
yes.
yes,
I think that's a benchmark that you have set.
it is.
It is. Because going back to your motto, helping those who want to help themselves. Yes. Excellent. Any
Thank you.
closing thoughts? So what would you
Um,
say to someone who feels like, because listen, these food prices and the
oh,
heating and housing prices, suppose there is a single mom
okay.
or married woman just overwhelmed. They don't know what to do. They have some shame. They just can't, they're just dog paddling. They just can't get ahead of it all. What would your advice be to them?
One, sit back and think of the thing that's keeping you where you are right now. A lot of that time, you will find that for a lot of people, it goes back to credit, which is crazy. But that's like your foundation. And it's not just getting your credit together and thinking you're good, because there's people out there with great credit that's not doing anything with it. But when you learn how to actually use it, such as um, I have a credit card that I use strictly for getting groceries, right?
Mm,
And the reason I use it for groceries is because the money that I get back on the backside for doing something I had to do anyway, right? So just learning those little things can help you save a whole lot. If not, going on vacation for the free 99, my flights are free, get upgraded. You know what I'm saying? So you get the
yes,
luxury as well as now you're spending less and still living the life that you was going to live anyway.
exactly, exactly. I have friends who they travel almost free because on their credit card. They pay
Yes,
it off on time or early, I think they do, and they just zip bopping around here.
yes, because I tell people, people you use look at credit as this is extra money. No, it's a tool. So do something that you had to do anyway. I tell people, use your credit card to pay your bills. You already had the money set aside to pay that bill. So use the credit card for it and then take the money you already had set aside to pay off that credit card. Just for doing something you had to do anyway. If you have the right type of credit cards, you're making money on the back end.
Excellent. I want to thank you so much for joining us and giving us all of
Thank
this good
you.
information. I am going to put your contact information in the liner notes so people can go to your website, check you out,
Yes,
Kredit Kleanse.
yes, yes.
And thank you so much for joining us. And everyone, we will see you next time on the Healing Words podcast. Bye bye.